there! I'm Ken, this is CRT, that's Tig. Welcome to this episode where I am going to be looking at a cheap handheld game. Now, why did I buy a cheap handheld game, you may be asking yourself? Well, let me tell you. See, I'm not the most organized person in the world, and unfortunately, I needed to change the tip on my soldering iron. Well, it turns out I have misplaced all of my spare tips, so I had to order some because, of course, anybody that's like me knows the fastest way to find something you've misplaced is to buy new ones, and then the old ones just turn right up. Anyway, so I went on Amazon. I found a really good price for some, but they were an add-on item. So I had to add something that was a few dollars more. So I picked up this. Yeah, this was less than $20 Canadian, so I'm not expecting a lot from it. I don't think Tig is either. Well, maybe he wants to look at this, but anyways. I'm not expecting a lot from it, and you shouldn't either. Now, to put that in perspective, $20 Canadian is... So basically, this cost less than £11.69, or $16.50 US. So let's get a little closer to this, maybe move the cat, and then we can take a look at this, open the box up. And here we go with the 500 game 3-inch TFT 8-bit classic game console. Yeah, it's the yellow one that I ordered. So, there we go. So there is the console. And see, I ordered the one that has the second player joystick. There's the instruction manual. The cable for plugging it into the TV, so I'll be able to run it through my capture card. And USB mini for the joystick, as well as USB charging cable, also USB mini. Okay. Oh, wait, shouldn't there be a... Oh, there we go. And here is a 120 milliamp hour rechargeable battery, cheap knockoff. So I guess we've got to put this into the machine and charge it up, and then we can turn it on. All right, well, I have got the battery charged up now, so the first thing to do before we turn it on is remove the screen protector. There we go. Now it's ready to be turned on. So here we go with turning this on. I have it sitting flat on the table so it's not going to be all shaky and everything as I'm filming this. An odd angle to try to play one of these, but there we go. The power button is just up here. There's a little volume knob on the side here. You've got your start and select buttons, all your fire buttons, and your movement buttons. So we are going to take English. And everybody always starts with Super Mario Brothers because that's an easy game to tell if there's screen tear or if the emulator is running fast or slow. Unfortunately, I am not that familiar with Super Mario Brothers, so I'll be able to tell you if it's fun to play, not how well it's running in relation to the real one, because I haven't played the real one all that much. I've probably played emulation a lot more, so let's test it out. Okay, button. Run, okay. So these are the jump buttons, that's the run button. Oh, I missed the mushroom there. I'm playing at such an odd angle, it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing. Seems to be running fine to me. So, it does say it's a 501 games, but I am going to plug this into my capture card through the TV input just to see how it looks and take a closer look at some of the games. All right, it is time to plug this into the TV. Now, this cable right here simply plugs into the top right there, and you turn it on. Let's see here. And unfortunately, the screen really sucks. Yes, I did try this out earlier, and as you can see, the cable here fits kind of loosely and gives a bit of a washed out version through the capture card anyway. But you can also see that the screen shuts off and it just goes to whatever source you have it plugged into. And now it is time to try out the second player joystick that came with it, joypad. So it just plugs into the top. Now the only thing I found that I can play 2 players on and able to use, I mean, I'm sure there's other games on here, but the one I found first was Snow Brothers. So here we go with a 2-player game of Snow Brothers. I will just be controlling the second player. See if we can skip through this. There we go. So yeah, second player one works fine. There we go. That is the Innovis 500-in-1 knockoff little game console. So what did I think of it? Well, there's some negatives with it, but there's also actually some positives. So we'll start with the positives. Yeah, there's actually a fair number of games on here that are worth playing. Just off the top of my head, I can think of at least 30, maybe 40 games that I would play over and over again on this thing. And the cost. I mean, really, the cost. It's under $20 Canadian. That's like 2 or 3 lattes. So, yeah, I mean, how can you go wrong at that price? And, of course, there's the controls. Now, they are not the worst controls that I've ever used on a gaming system. So, you know, it's got that going for it. And I have definitely had a lot of fun exploring this, looking at the games, trying out them. Some of them I totally didn't get, but there's definitely some hidden little classics on here. And the emulation doesn't seem to be all that bad, in my opinion, as somebody that, you know, isn't a super expert at playing these games. The emulation seems fine to me. And the little screen that's on here is actually very clear. It's a decent little screen. I mean, for my old eyes, I have to wear my glasses when I'm playing it, but because it's a fairly small screen, but it's clear. Now, there are some negatives. I mean, it's very cheaply built. It's light, especially the second player control here. I mean, this thing weighs next to nothing. I mean, there's basically the weight of the plastic shell on here, so I'm not even sure what they have in here. Air to control things. And the battery life. Very, very poor. It says you get 6 hours of battery life, but it's a very cheap knockoff battery, and I've found that it's more like 2 hours. And even though I said it's not the worst controls I've ever used, you do actually have to hit them fairly hard when you're playing. So after playing for a little while, my fingers were starting to cramp up a little bit. But, you know, that's a bit of a problem. And the TV out is a little flaky. It's loose. And even when it's kind of working at its peak, it's coming through very washed out. But again, it all just comes back to price and the fact that I've found that this is fun. So yeah, I'm not sad that I bought this. It'll be just a fun little thing to take with me somewhere on the bus, play it. I don't have to worry about it. I mean, less than 20 bucks. Ooh, darn, if I drop it and break it, I'm not out that much. Whereas if I drop and break one of my Game Boys or something like that, you know, it's a little more serious. So yeah, I didn't mind it. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed watching this episode. If you did, you know what you can do with the liking, the subscribing, and or the commenting below, because anything and everything you do is always greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching. See you next time.